What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, the Bryce Benjamin Podcast. Appreciate you for tuning in again. Today is Sunday the 18th when I'm recording this right now. This episode that you're getting ready to listen to, I actually recorded yesterday, Saturday the 17th, and I had one of my good buddies on, Hassan Green. But before I get into that, I do want to give a plug real quick to Joe's Towing. So Friday, I was out near the Galleria and my car wouldn't start. But I got the number here from my man Darrell and called Joe and arrived on time promptly. Got my car up. He was able to give me a ride home all the way from Cheektowaga to Niagara Falls, and very reasonable pricing as well. And on the way back, had some really good conversations as well. So very personable dude. Very professional, very courteous, and I told him that I definitely want to give him a plug on my podcast that I'd be doing. So, yeah, if you guys ever are in a situation like I was, I definitely highly recommend Joe's Towing. You can find him on Facebook with the name Joe's Towing. His phone number is 716-430-0400, and then he has an email as well, which is joestowing61915@yahoo.com. All right, so shout out to Joe's Towing there. Shout out to Joe, real stand-up guy. But without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to my man Hassan, and we had some very interesting conversations. Hassan has been a good friend of mine since our Tuxedo Junction days, and him and I, whenever we get together, you always get to shoot the shit a little bit and exchange different ideas, and I like his mindset, man. He has one of those mindsets I gravitate towards, and I can always call on and get advice from him, and he always keeps it straight and he always keeps it real with me. One of those big brother figures for me, and we had a really good conversation today. I think you guys will definitely enjoy it. But again, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce you guys to my man Hassan Green. But like I was saying, though, for the most part, whenever you doing any type of like recordings, you always going to it seems like you're going to offend somebody somehow, some way.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
You can't please everybody. Not everybody's going to agree with you. Yeah, not everybody's going to agree. They're 100% at least. They're either going to get both ends of the spectrum, or maybe some gray area in the middle. Nobody is going to think exactly like you.
Yeah, that's a fact. And like anytime I'm doing one of these podcasts, either like when I do the sports one or when I'm doing this,
right?
I try to be conscious about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's just like the flow of conversation.
It seems like with sports, like mentioning sports, that's where it still seems like you can definitely have that kind of agree to disagree.
Right.
Which is kind of a shame. Like sports, for some reason, it's like an unspoken rule. It seems where you start talking sports and everybody just knows, male or female, orientation, aside or whatever. It just seems like, okay, we're talking sports. Oh, this is where we could just, say whatever we want to say and not, and come away not so offended. Whereas you start talking real stuff like politics or what's happening outside your front door, or shit, I've seen people get real heated over like movies.
Yes.
Or like music or something.
Yes.
And for some reason, you talk sports and it doesn't get that aggressive. I mean, it kind of does maybe in language and maybe, I guess, with the amount of alcohol content, it might.
That's a fact.
Might come to blows. But for some reason, when you start talking sports with somebody, you don't get in the fisticuffs. Whereas, at least not so quickly. Like, whereas you say something about, I don't know, like a mayor or hell, you start swinging for the fence and start talking about, the president or, federal government or whatever, and within seconds, it gets volatile. And it's like, what?
I think it's really the culture with it, too. Like, because with sports, and it also depends on the sport, too.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's when you're talking to somebody one-on-one about it, that's typically the mindset you're having with that person. Like, you talk shit about each other's teams.
Yeah.
But it's nothing really like to take personal.
Absolutely.
Because it's not
like
it's a team that you're rooting for.
Yeah.
But it's not us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely see what you're saying about that one. But yeah, like you bring up any other topic, rather it be about religion or race or
religion,
politics or that you start getting to diving into that. And that opens up a whole separate can of worms.
Absolutely.
And then like you said, people like it gets to the point sometimes where people want to come for your neck.
Yeah,
like that shit gets really real.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick example. I got a couple of friends who are like diehard New England Patriots fans, but I don't have any ill will towards them.
Right.
But I mean, I'll bust it. Like I went to I saw the last Super Bowl like in their home. Like they invited me in their home. Like they knew I wasn't a Patriots fan, but I was sitting there, and I mean, most of the game was what it was, but
shitty.
Yeah. And at the end of the game, I mean, obviously you saw who came out with the trophy, and I mean, well, at least she. One particular friend of mine, she diehard New England Patriots fan. I believe she's from that area anyway. Like her parents live in that area, so you have that kind of home connection, or hometown connection, if you will. And yeah, she was walking proud, talking proud through the house, and I'm just like, okay. On one hand, this is your house. I ain't gonna come in your own home and start talking trash about you,
right?
But I was like, all right, okay, I get it. But before the game was over, I think even before they had the points, enough points to win or whatever, I was talking mad trash.
Yeah.
Mad trash. And I usually do it. Hell, I mean, even before that, or even after that, like before I put my shoes on and left the house, I was like, they still suck, right? they still ass. Like, I don't even care.
It don't matter if y'all did win the Super Bowl,
right,
man.
Right.
Fuck y'all.
Like, I don't care what I just witnessed. I know everybody else in the country witnessed that. Like, they still ass. I don't care. But I mean, she wasn't bothered by it. Yeah, A, because they won, but B, we realized it was sports.
Right.
And
it's not like a personal attack. It's not like you saying like, yo, you a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
For liking the Patriots.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? You ain't shit for liking one specific team. Like there's certain, and there's people that do take it to that level. Like I'm in you go to like these different Facebook groups and whatnot.
Oh gosh.
And you see people that would like, oh yeah, you see the memes and shit like that, but they might take it to a different level where it's like, okay, yeah, you might have crossed the line there. But if you just keep it as strictly sports, like, yeah, your team fucking sucks, and such and such sucks, and blah 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 blah. Like, people ain't gonna get too offended about that. You know what I mean? Especially if your team winning.
Right.
Like, if people talking shit to you and your team winning, that actually kind of feels good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have a reason to have those kind of haters, or whatever. You're doing well. I mean, it's kind of, you see that applied in, business and other such factors, or other such perspectives, if you will, in life, where you will have haters. You will have people who don't agree or just envious of the success. So yeah.
That shit is crazy to me. How you gonna be mad at somebody else for their success and if that person did it without stepping on toes,
right,
and fucking over other people, and like you're gonna be jealous of that person because they reached a certain level of success that you haven't reached just yet.
In my life experience, I've found that it was more than just talk. I mean, I've heard it for for decades now. I mean, whether it was out of music, out of like rap songs, talking about people with jealousy and envy, and haters coming out of the woodwork and so forth. But when I was younger, to me, it was just talk. Maybe because I just didn't have that life experience where people. It was said that some haters or some people who are envious of you, it's because excuse me, they see you with something that they don't have, or they see their own faults or their own missing pieces or whatever in you. They see you putting in the work, they see you reaping the rewards and all that, and they it's almost like they have to hate because they're on the outside looking in, or they're behind in the race. They see you ahead. They've seen you doing, or maybe not doing everything you're supposed to do. I mean, some of that hatred is, it seems like it comes out of nowhere because they didn't see the hard work you put in, for example. But it's at this point in my life, I've seen it and have felt it. I mean, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a professional athlete or whatever. I've had, my highs and my lows. I've definitely had successes in life, and I've seen people maybe behind, or heard people maybe behind my back, or maybe just all out to my face, just kind of being a bit messy or a little bit salty about where or how far I've come in life. And it's just like, look, man, I just focused on me. I did what I had to do. I put in the work here and there, and okay, you hate all you want to, but you could be up on this level too.
But that's the thing with me is like hating on somebody else.
Yeah.
Isn't going to make your situation better.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Because, like, for instance, I see people that's doing the same things that I'm doing, podcasting or, whatever ventures that they may be taking part of.
Right.
And if I see a certain person that's reaching a certain pinnacle at that point, that makes me want that motivates me to do better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Seeing somebody that, especially if they're a friend of mine, or if I, know of them, or we grew up in the same neighborhood, whatever.
Yeah.
Seeing that person has success not only gives me joy for them,
sure,
but it also motivates me.
I think it's a level of.
I think it's a level. Oh, it's not that to control. I'm sorry.
No,
I think a lot of it has to do with like a lot of. Like with self-conscious, like what's the word I'm looking for?
Self-awareness, maybe.
Yeah, like the lack of though.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say it was
jealousy and all that shit there.
I was gonna say it was a lack of self-awareness, maybe self-education. I mean, I don't want to say it's a level of intelligence necessarily, but it's just the awareness. I was gonna say perhaps self-awareness in the sense that some folks aren't as aware as others to look at someone's success or progression and use that as motivation or use that as a blueprint,
right?
If you will, to do the same for themselves or do something similar. I think the only thing you can succeed or find, I guess for lack of a better term, success in without doing a lot of work is winning a lottery. But that's a whole other, that's a whole other story.
Yeah,
but excuse me, but it's kind of a lack of that self-awareness, self-respect, even. Because if you're not going to respect somebody else, you probably don't have a lot of self-respect either. And that's something else on the other end of the spectrum that I had learned too. I mean, I was younger and not so wise in my early 20s, where I was envious of people. And some of that carried into my 30s because I saw a couple of folks. For example, a couple of folks I remember being in like junior high with, and hadn't spoken to them, hadn't seen them since we walked across the stage, got our diplomas in 8th grade, like before high school. And by now, we're all adults, and I've seen a couple of them have some success, and I felt some envy internally, a little bit of jealousy going, wait, how are these people that successful? I remember when y'all was picking on me and, doing all this other stuff. I mean, I had pent up stuff from like way back. And it could have been worse, but I will admit that, there was jealousy and envy. Again, it even carried into my 30s because we're not perfect, but I was able to quickly like dissolve that internally and go, okay, you're being a hater, definitely not as aggressive as you would have been when you were younger.
Right.
But I saw what they were doing and was like, all right, whatever happened over the years, they changed their ways, they, got educated or whatever, they did what they did. They laid out a blueprint towards their success. And I was like, you know what? Good for them. Good for them. I'm glad they, got things together. They're doing well for themselves. One person in particular, she was out there doing some charitable work, for example, to very good charitable work. And I cannot remember what the name of the organization is right now. I do apologize, but she was putting forth